This is a lot harder than I expected, proving that the Earth is round.
I came across this guy on YouTube who says he's not a flat earther, but he is not sure why. His name is Owen Benjamin, and he is a comedian, comic actor, and musician. In this epic meltdown you're about to see, he becomes very frustrated that, with his severely limited scientific knowledge, he cannot prove that the Earth is a sphere. So, let's see if we can help him out.
This is the thing I want to ask the round Earth people to explain to me. If the Earth is spinning at 700 miles an hour, 1100 miles an hour, whatever, why isn't the air spinning? And before you answer real fast and say, oh, it's all relative, it's all the same shit, the higher you go in the air, the less atmosphere there is until there's almost no atmosphere. Like 40,000 feet up, there's almost no atmosphere. So where is the break where you get away from the atmosphere in which it's no longer relative? So if the Earth is spinning 1,100 miles an hour and the atmosphere somehow miraculously is attached to the Earth, is that what kind of friction is that? Sliding friction is when the molecules are touching, so sliding friction is moving it along, right? Fine.
Yes, air has friction. He has the answer right there. The atmosphere is held to the Earth by gravity, and that causes air pressure, which causes friction against the surface, and friction of the air against the air. So, the rotation of the Earth has to cause the atmosphere to rotate with it, all the way up to the edge of space. Here is an illustration that would help him understand. The water in this blender is pushed around by the blades at the bottom, but all of the water spins, all the way up to the top, due to the friction of the water against the water. Air pressure is less dense and has less pressure, so the friction is less, but it is still a factor, so the same effect occurs.
When you go up enough, there's no more atmosphere. So you are now just, like if you're in a hot air balloon that goes up 30,000 miles, there's no atmosphere. So why isn't the Earth flying by? We have molecules of the atmosphere, and if it's attached to our spinning shit, fine. You go up 40,000 feet, there's no atmosphere, none. It's basically a vacuum. So where do you pop out of that situation? The jet stream, that's 100 miles an hour, not 1,100. And when you're out of the atmosphere, when you're going west to east or east to west, I can't remember which way, why is the Earth not flying by?
No. Wow. Hot air balloons cannot go above the atmosphere. They rise due to buoyancy, which requires the atmosphere. A hot air balloon is less dense than the air around it. So the gravity pulls on the air around it a little bit stronger, and this forces the balloon up. And so, since the balloon is still floating within the atmosphere, and as we know, the atmosphere rotates with the Earth, you are not going to see the Earth zip by below from a hot air balloon, except for movement that's caused by the wind.
Here's another one. Why do flights not go around the poles? Please explain this to me, because I do not like where the logic is taking any of this. It's not fun. It's actually incredibly isolating, and I don't want it at all.
Oh, the poor guy. They say ignorance is bliss. Apparently not for Owen. Flights do go around the poles, sometimes. People have circumnavigated the entire Earth, north to south, several times. In 1977, PanAM Flight 50 was the first commercial airliner to accomplish the feat. The flight took 54 hours and cost passengers $2,222 US. But this was done as a publicity stunt. There is no practical reason to fly over both poles. The Guinness Book of Records records the first polar circumnavigation done on the surface by land and sea, which took 3 years, from 1979 to 1982, by Sir Ranulph Fiennes and Charles Burton, which was known as the Transglobe Expedition, and it was a tremendously difficult and dangerous accomplishment. Today, airliners routinely fly over the North Pole, or close to it, for certain routes between Asia and North America because it is the most direct path. But in the Southern Hemisphere, there just happens to be only 3 major landmasses that are spaced somewhat evenly around the pole. So there simply is no practical reason to fly over the South Pole, as there are no 2 populated areas that are exactly opposite each other across the pole. Rather, intercontinental flights in the Southern Hemisphere arc down towards Antarctica and then arc back up, such as Qantas 27 from Sydney, Australia to Santiago, Chile.
The last thing I need in my life is to be given another label that makes me look insane. That sounds awful. Someone said not flat. Well, please fucking tell me how you can go up into near-Earth orbit and stay still and the Earth is not flying by if it's spinning on a goddamn axis. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't explain it, can you?
Yes, I can. Okay, so now he is talking about satellites, not planes or balloons. The majority of satellites orbit west to east, the same direction that the Earth rotates. They do go faster than the Earth's rotation, so the Earth does zip by underneath them. I really don't understand what his issue is. The International Space Station, for example, travels at about 17,000 miles per hour, or 27,000 kilometers per hour, and you can see the Earth moving by below it. But it is about 250 miles, or about 400 kilometers above the surface. At that height, the relative movement of the Earth appears to move very slowly. Anyone who has watched cars appear to slowly creep along a highway from a high airplane understands that since distances look smaller when far away, speeds appear slower. Some satellites are positioned above the equator at a height and speed that causes them to move at the same rate as the Earth's rotation. These are called geosynchronous satellites. So you won't see any of the Earth's rotation from their perspective, and that's by design.
Explain to me how NASA shows us images of the Earth that are photoshopped. The clouds are fucking duplicates of the other clouds in the fucking thing.
There are only 1 or 2 examples of cloud formations being duplicated in Earth photographs that I know of. And these are in composite images that were never claimed to be real single-image photographs. There are, however, tens of thousands of images of Earth that don't have any evidence of photoshopping. So this is a case of extreme cherry-picking and a misconstruing of the evidence.
Coriolis effect proves the Earth isn't flat. I believe that as well. I really hope we have more than the Coriolis effect. Really hope we have more than that, guys. Really hope we have more than the Coriolis effect.
Indeed, we do. I made a 4-part video series explaining many observations anyone can make that prove the Earth is a globe. My favorite is the lunar eclipse, but there are so many more. So, when you understand science just a little bit, you understand that the evidence for the curve of the Earth is irrefutable, and that the flat Earth is impossible. Benjamin claims to know science, but his statements indicate otherwise. It never ceases to amaze me that people as scientifically illiterate as this guy actually think that they have discovered things about the shape of the Earth that every scientist for many centuries have somehow missed or could not explain. The fact is quite the contrary. Everything we observe confirms the spherical Earth when you understand it. Thanks for watching. Please check out my other Flat Earth debunking videos. And please like, share, and subscribe.
So you are now just, like if you're in a hot air balloon that goes up 30,000 miles, there's no atmosphere. So why isn't the Earth flying by? And when you're out of the atmosphere, when you're going west to east or east to west, I can't remember which way, why is the Earth not flying by underneath you? You're not in that anymore. So far, no one's been able to explain that to me, which is fucking weird. The last thing I need in my life is to be given another label that makes me look insane. That sounds awful. Someone said not flat. Well, please fucking tell me how you can go up into near-Earth orbit and stay still and the Earth is not flying by if it's spinning on a goddamn axis. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't explain it, can you? The fuck? Inertia, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing and we both know it. Inertia. It just says inertia. You don't think I know about inertia? Okay, Martin, you're no longer allowed to talk to the grown-ups. I'm obviously not dumb. If I was dumb, 3,552 people wouldn't be watching me after 2 hours and 11 minutes of me just talking. Dumb people don't retain that amount of people. Gravity can't explain. No, it doesn't explain shit. I understand physics very, very well. Not on a level of like MIT or anything like that, but on a basic, way above average level, I understand the principles of physics. So far, I've got nothing on it. No one can explain it.